Greetings, humble friends, and all of my noblemen enemies. Alright, guys. So, it's that time of the month again. Or, well, I mean, time of the month, time of the week. It's that time again. Today, chapter 3 of The Garden of Lies. You can't see it very well because I'm chilling in the dark because, you know, I'm a big emo. I'm the most ripped emo you ever seen. No. So yeah, today is chapter 3. If you haven't already, do me a favor. Like this video. Share the channel around, especially if you have, friends who are fantasy nuts. Share this playlist with them. Give me some more views. Give me some more subs. It really helps me a lot, and it means the world to me. So, I appreciate it. Alright, let's get to it. The Garden of Lies, Chapter 3, Return as Wolves. I arrive at the edge of town. The other packs are already here, as are the rest of the shaman and dignitaries needed for the ceremony. I realize now they were waiting on me. I might care, or feel slightly embarrassed on a regular day. On this day, I witnessed a cruelty, an abuse of power. Part of me wishes I had intervened. The world turns on. I must move with it. So nice of you to join us, Alpha Thorn. Now we can begin the ceremony of sending. My pack, Aryans, and Amnesses all stand in a long line, ordered by pack hierarchy. Aryan first, then Amnes, then I. Elder stands in front of us, centered to our line. He is flanked by the 5 shaman and noble shifters of the town council, all of them in the ceremonial white and light gray robes used for such occasions. In this ceremony of sending, we send boys and girls, pups, into the wild. There you will hunt. You will fight the beasts of the field with fang and claw. You will use cunning, instinct, and underhanded cheating in Aryan's case, I think to myself, and sheer will to prevail. Your alphas will guide you. Their minds are the pack's mind. Move with one purpose, as wolves do. You are not the solitary hunters of the feline jungles, nor like the great lions who only hunt together as needed. Wolves hunt as one, always. Nor are you like the birds of prey who hunt small, weak game that can be killed in one fell swoop of talon. The wolves and war dogs of the canine nation hunt great game, and fell it as one. You hunt the raging broadback. You hunt the swift blacktail. You hunt the mighty carapace. Elder's voice built as he finished the speech, his crescendo sending the gathered crowd into roaring applause. He approaches Aryan now to begin the individual blessings. There is a generic blessing that shamans can use for shifters they do not know well, but Elder takes a very hands-on approach with the warriors trained in Three Fang. Despite being such a large town, we routinely have small groups of children picked for selection, because Elder hand-picks us all and oversees our training diligently. He takes pride in our development, I think. I don't listen to the blessing for most. Honestly, I don't really care to. When he gets to my friend and rival, Amnes, I tune in. Amnes lupine, streamwolf and startongue. Yours is a family of great esteem and pride, and they could not have had a fiercer or nobler daughter. I am sure you and your pack will fell many beasts of prey. May you run far and fast, and may your prey be worthy and hearty. He proceeds down her pack line. I listen to what he has to say about them. I know them, and I tend to pay attention where women are concerned. Who can blame me? Girls are neat. He finishes with Amnes's pack and comes to stand in front of me. His eyes meet mine. He smiles and places his hands upon my shoulders. A more familiar gesture than he afforded any other till me. He inclines his head a fraction of an inch. I incline my own 4 times as deep to show my elder respect. He removes his hands and places them on his hips, smiling. Thorn, a simple name for a complex boy of humble origins. Disliked by your peers as a young boy for being precocious and eccentric, needing special care along your journey. Yet here you stand, at the start of one of the final trials before adulthood. A fine warrior and leader. Your parents would be proud. Never doubt that. Tears well in my eyes, and I deeply incline my head again. Elder pats the top of my head and moves to Pogs. You know, when I wrote the pats the top of the head line, I wasn't thinking about the fact that my canine shifters, could derogatorily be referred to as dogs, and that Angeal just patted Dolge on the head. And now I have to wonder if my own character was condescending my protagonist without me knowing it. Oh, man. Pogsworth macrophage. Your parents would also be proud. One of the finest and most talented of the macros in generations. Your prowess in the shifted state could one day be the stuff of legend, my boy. And you somehow managed to keep Dolge from getting himself killed. A finer friend and lieutenant in your year there is not. Pogs bows deeply and also receives a head pat. I think Elder thinks of us as adopted sons, or at least nephews. When our parents died when we were kids, he took us in for a few months until he was convinced he had taught us enough to live on my family's land alone. And no matter how he feels about us, he is definitely a second father to me. He moves through my pack, Myrrh, Class, and Stir. They get shorter blessings than me and Pogs did, but their blessings are still unique to them. When Elder finishes, he returns to his position and stands in front of all 15 warriors. As you all know, it is tradition that one final rule be announced before the sending, and that final rule, again following the spirit of survival in the wilds with naught but your bodies, you shall leave all clothing here, at the starting point. It will be gathered and kept safe for you until the week is over. I blush a little. This is a bit much. I hear the girls and a couple boys complain, class among them. I shoot daggers his way and he zips his lips. The rest of the dissent is quickly quelled by the other alphas. Elder is chuckling. Pogs looks upset. He doesn't like exposing skin. His family has a unique ability. Strong magic flows in their blood, and it shows on the skin. As he disrobes, you can see the outline of every artery, every vein, even most of the capillaries, as if someone drew on him with deep red, purple, and black ink. I know, my students. It seems a bit ridiculous, but it is truly a finishing touch on the measures of ensuring you must know how to survive in the wilds. The council feels the warriors, the shifter nations, have been producing have been softening of late. This will help ensure that trend reverses. Now I send you forth, my young pupils, to prove yourselves ready to be adults. I send you to prove you are capable warriors. I send you to the hunt. Leave as pups. Return as wolves of the canine nation. Fun fact about that return as wolves line. I debated for like half a day, almost, whether or not I wanted to leave that line as return as wolves or add the canine nation bit afterwards. I still almost feel like I should have just left it return as wolves. With his final word, we all take off, legs pumping fast in steady rhythm. Once we are free of the crowd, Amnes's group splits, 2-2, and her lieutenant is solo. My own pack splits. 3 run straight east. Once they are out of sight of the rest, Steer Guild will break away to hunt down game. Class and Myrrh have a special task on their plates. Pogs and I, we hunt the prize. But first I screw with the competition. Running alongside my friend, I address him a final time before we split. Remember, has to be an adult. Isolate a young adult, herd it to the trap. He nods. Tonight, we rendezvous and debrief. You remember where it is? Dolge. I picked the spot. I think for a second. Damn. He did. I nod. I'm going to do a redo on Pog's voice because in real life Pogs doesn't sound like that at all. Hang on. Dolge. I picked the spot. Better. He did pick the spot. I nod. Good hunting. He nods again, and we start to shift. Now you have probably been wondering why we are called shifters. Shifters are called so because many of us have the ability to assume a bestial form. Whatever animal is in our particular bloodline, we assume traits from that animal. We are wolf shifters. Our fingernails are less like human fingernails and more like claws. They grow out from the bone, extending even more when we change. Fur that that normally rests underneath the skin is pushed out by contracting superficial muscles across our body. Our arms are pulled into their second socket, lengthening them, allowing us to run quadrupedal. The femur is shifted in its socket. Our canine teeth grow out. Perhaps the most amazing thing, muscles and bones in our faces distort and pop into place, and our faces are no longer human, but closer to a wolf. We look monstrous. But to hunt monsters, you must be monstrous. And the animals of Garden are monsters. I unleash a frenzied, heartfelt howl. Pogs and my pack in the distance respond in kind. I gaze upon Pogs, still amazed, despite having seen it many times. Those who bear the name Phage are direct descendants of the first shifters. They are the most bestial. They change beyond what the rest of us do. They grow bigger. They are furrier. And they are so strong in this shifted bestial form, they can even challenge foes like the Carapane alone. Pogs is the same size as me now, but once he tracks down a broadback and feasts, he will be bigger. If it weren't for his family's insane ability to rapidly digest consumed food, it wouldn't be possible. The great creator god blessed them with a unique and terrifying power. Safety. We split up now. East. I, northwest. We know the other two packs will be hunting their small game near the avian forest where I head. If I can bag enough of it, or scare enough of it away, they will have to venture even further, buying my pack valuable time. I've taken a big gamble splitting my pack up this much. We won't be able to communicate as easily, and Ripjaws present a much greater risk. But they're rare enough, almost hunted to extinction as they are. I'm confident we will be fine. I run, looking for anyone from the other packs to begin tracking. The terrain is mostly even. Long grasses of varying types populate the vast plains. Occasional lone trees, small patches of brush of one kind or another that will be hiding rabbits and raccoons. The occasional patch of razor grass to be carefully avoided. Medicinal, edible, and will cut you to shreds if you run through it carelessly. I run for an hour before I'm able to catch the scent of Amnes's Lieutenant Kira. What she's up to could be exceedingly useful. The sun creeps toward the east, setting in a few hours. I won't make it back to the rendezvous before dark. Good thing we didn't set a hard time to be there. Only a spot. I keep running on all fours. I move somewhere about 30 miles per hour. If I were chasing prey, I would sprint. But this is a marathon. I run for another hour before I think I can spot Kira. I run for another hour before I think I can spot Kira in the distance. Now I must take care to avoid being seen. Thankfully, dusk hides my blonde fur. In the daylight, I shimmer if the light hits me right. I pick up 5 more scents as I pursue her, her own feminine scent occupying my sense of smell till now. But now, the boys of Arian's group have been where I tread recently enough to muscle into my sensory awareness over Kira's appealing, nectar-like scent. She's following Arian's group to report to Amnes. We're so close to the forest now. Arian must have some reason to be going into the forest. His smell leads straight into the tree line. Kira follows it. I follow her. The wind is still for now, so unless a tailwind starts, or she sees or hears me, my presence is secret. Into the evergreen avian forest we go. Speed is cut by a third to handle the uneven ground made by large tangling roots of old-growth forest. The young trees of the outer edge quickly give way to the old sentinels of the forest. Ancient pine and fir trees, a group of occasional oak, maple, redwood, or ironwood, break up the pines and firs, giving the forest a little variety. I slow my pace as the scent of Kira gets stronger. I need to focus on being quiet. Good thing, too. Quieting down and paying attention to my ears, I notice them now. Arian's group is ahead. I stop cold, ducking between trees and brush, trying to triangulate them by sound. Narrowing in, I find them there in a small ravine. The ground rises until it gets to the edge. If I approach on the ground, I'll be seen looking over the edge for sure. To the trees it is. I move back 50 feet or so, and pick a pine with lots of thick branches. Climbing is easy when you have claws that bite into the soft wood like a carpenter's nail. Up, up, up. 150 feet in the air. I can't see. Another tree's branch blocks me. Down 50 feet, I jump to the nearby fir that blocked my sight, using the pads of my hands and feet to land in a whisper instead of a crash. Back up now. I'm in luck. Clear sight now into the ravine. And oh, what a sight to behold. Arian stands with his pack, clothed, holding spears with oilcloth at the tips, to be set alight before throwing, and rope enough to make a carapace-sized sled. I knew it. Arian is nothing if not predictable in his scumbaggery. Somehow he knew the rules ahead of time. Somehow he managed to hide this gear without getting caught, and unless my group manages to execute our plan flawlessly, this will give him the time advantage to win handily. Handily. I spot a flash of movement in the tree down and to my left. Kira. She's climbing down too fast. Too reckless. Arian might spot her. I'm getting nervous watching her. My heart rate climbs, even as I force my breathing to stay level. Snap. The branch she jumps to snaps under her weight, like kindling. She falls 75 feet down a fir tree, hitting branches left and right. There is a wet crack when she hits the ground, and she isn't moving. Arian's group saw the whole thing. They scramble to get out of the ravine and capture her. I can't allow that. She's my witness. My word alone might not suffice. If she and I tell Elder of Arian's cheating, he's done for sure. I scramble down faster than a horny squirrel chasing tail. I briefly consider leaving her. Getting away with an injured body slowing me down will be next to impossible. I shove the notion aside. Arian wouldn't hesitate to kill her and bury her so deep, even the best nose in Three Fang couldn't smell the body. I can't leave her to die. I've known her my whole life. And Void, Even if she were a stranger, leaving her would haunt me. Besides that, I realize, Arian would have caught my scent when he came for her. He would still know I knew, and chase me anyways. Kira roped me into this as soon as she made that ill-considered jump. She owes me a full flagon of Marionberry mead for this, when all is said and done. As I descend, I can hear Arian's pack moving west along the ravine now. Their path out must be that way. The sides apparently too steep and loose to climb. I jump the last 15 feet to the ground, rolling into the fall and rising, sprinting on all fours. I get to her. Arian is seconds away. Out of the ravine now, he heads this way. He's giving orders to his pack in breathy whispers. My keen ears pick them up. He plans to send them wide, box her in. The ravine is 100 feet across. Couldn't make that on my best day. And today I have to carry her. Her breathing is labored. A bruise barely visible through her black fur covers her lower right side. Broken ribs. Arian continues to close in. Left, right, forward, back. All covered. Up it is again. Yay. Sorry about this, Kira. I mutter as I pick her up and spread my jaws. I use my paw-like hands to bunch up the flesh and muscle of her left shoulder, then sink my teeth in about a half an inch. She doesn't wake, but her body shakes, and her claws rake at me once on reflex. I can't climb fast enough to avoid Arian without both hands. You're getting pup-carried. I mutter through a mouth full as I swat her claw away and begin my climb. She's too heavy for the muscles of my neck to allow me to look up. I climb by feel and memory of what the tree looked like. It's painfully slow. I'm 40 feet up. I hear them entering the general area she fell. I climb up to a branch on the opposite side of the tree from her fall that's thick enough to mostly hide me from a ground view up. Still, my cover is minimal. If by some miracle they don't spot me, I will have the dusk to thank. The ground is disturbed here. She fell here. Can't believe she walked off that fall. I hear someone inhale loudly. She didn't. That's Dolge's scent under hers. He grabbed her. Arian swears loudly. A string of profanity his high-born parents would be ashamed of him saying. Guess the act fades when he's among friends. Fan out! Find them! Ribin, with me! The 3 gammas fan out. I might luck out. I never get lucky. I'm certainly overdue. Rybin begins sniffing around, investigating the scene. I hear him getting closer to the tree. They went up. Why do I even bother hoping? I can climb straight up with her in my jaws, but what I'm about to do requires my eyes and all my focus and strength. And without some luck on top of that, I'm still gonna die. Shit. Why did I think catching Arian and his cheating was a good idea? Why didn't I think ahead of time that if he caught me snooping, he would try to dust me? And why didn't Pogs think of it either? Damn it, Pogs. It's your job to catch me in my stupid ideas. I release my bite, sling Kira over my right shoulder, and run down the length of the branch I'm on till it starts to sag under my feet, and jump I hear them beneath me. They call the gammas of the pack, then take up pursuit from the ground. I land on a branch in the next tree over, 30 feet ahead and 20 feet down from my launch point. I run the length of this branch to build speed and jump again, this time landing on the side of a thick trunk. Digging in with my 3 available claws, I skid down several feet, leaving deep furrows on the bark, then push off, sailing through the air to yet another tree's waiting thick limb. I land with a thunk. I run down the length of this limb. Then, near the end, I drop onto my left side and skid, catching the limb in my hand as I go. The limb bends under the leveraged weight of me and Kira. The branch bends till my feet are 2 or 3 feet from the ground. Before the branch has even sunk as far as it was going to, I release my grip and begin my mad dash out of this forest. My pursuers stay in human form for now. They would need to strip their boots to shift, unless they were willing to ruin them. I need to think of a plan. But for now, running for my life has to do. I feel Kira stir. She begins mumbling something. I can't make it out. "Speak," I struggle to say between heavy breaths. "Up." Her weight shifts. She's coming to. "Cave. Ravine. Ahead." She's struggling to breathe. Her ribs must be killing her. But a cave in the ravine might just be sufficient to the task of hiding us. But what about our scent? "Fox. Cave." She exhales painfully. Of course. Foxhole Village is in the avian forest, just south of where the avian territory truly begins. I should have thought to look for their scent. If I go where the smell of foxes is heavy, our scent will be lost among the litany of scents. "Your nose is better than mine. Where?" I ask her between labored breaths. She describes where. I will see the opening of the cave just ahead. I hear them behind me. They're steadily gaining ground. My ears say they're almost in sight, but only the trees block me from their eyes and ears. Suddenly, I am hit with a wall of fox musk. Pungent and thick, it hangs in the air here. If there had been even the slightest breeze, I would have smelled it all the way back where I climbed up the tree. I look down and see the cave mouth. It's a 40-foot drop here. Thankfully, the bottom of the ravine is loose sand and gravel. I pull her off my shoulder into a bridle carry and jump into a front flip. My trajectory was a little off. Instead of landing on my shoulders and rolling into my feet with her in my arm, I flip too far and land mid-back. I skid painfully to a stop and scramble back to my feet. Warm blood runs down my back. Cool air kisses bare skin where fur has been ground away. I enter the cave. Opening is just barely big enough for me to get in. I crouch and move on 3 limbs, painfully straining to hold Kira in my left. I hear Arian coming. After about 40 feet of narrow passage, it branches 3 separate paths. Kira says left. We go left. I hear them coming into the cave. Their voices echo as they discuss how to track me over the fox musk. The dim light makes tracking my footsteps impossible past the fork. I keep going, focusing on a breathing technique that makes my breaths as silent as possible. Kira uses the same, with greater struggle due to her broken organ box. I only hope none of her ribs pierced her organs. Then there won't be anything I can do but give her a proper burial. I stop and listen. They're still at the fork talking. I'm concealed in darkness. Walking with a hand on the wall is my only navigation. I try to use echolocation to get a general feel for the cave. I can only tell it's fairly smooth-walled and goes on a ways. I stop now. If they shut up and use their brains, thus figuring out that they need to use their ears, they would hear my shuffling feet, stumbling on the uneven ground. So I set Kira down now and wait. I listen to the distorted voices roll through the cave. They discuss going down each tunnel, but decide that's unwise. Even 2-on-1, I could kill any two of the gammas. Maybe even a gamma and Ribin with a little luck. Arian is the only sure bet to beat me, they say. Honestly, 1-on-1, I think I could take him. They discuss burning me out, using a large fire to force me out or die of smoke inhalation. They realize that won't work. Cave ceiling slopes up towards the exit. Smoke will leave the cave, not enter it. They mull it over silently for a few seconds. Then I hear them walking out. Arian must have thought of something and gestured for them to leave. I wait. 10 minutes go by. Nothing. 20. 30. I don't believe for a second they gave up and risked me shaming all of them by exposing the truth. Then I hear it. A loud groan of wood, dirt, rock and soil giving way. And suddenly the subtle air current in the cave ceases. They collapsed the entrance. The Garden of Lies, Chapter 3. Return as Wolves. Alright, guys. That's the chapter for the week. If you like this reading, do me a favor. Give me a like. Give me a comment. Share the video around. Share the playlist around to all your friends so we can all go on this journey together. And if you're liking it so far and you don't want to wait till the end of the videos coming out to find out what happens, it's available at Barnes & Nobles, Amazon for the time being, Apple Books, Google Books, and just about anywhere else you can buy an ebook. And if you buy it, do me a favor, leave me a review. You have no idea how much that really helps us independent authors. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you next week. Welcome to Garden.